Hey, true believers. Today we are going over Batman Adventures number 12. This is the first comic appearance of Harley. And if memory serves correctly with this comic, this is the first of this series' comic appearance of Batgirl. Now, for those of you that don't know, Harley was originally introduced in the animated series, and then she did this comic book, and I think they did Batman Mad Love after that, which is equally an amazing book. And then in the main continuity, they did a book called Batman Harley Quinn, and that was her first Prime Universe comic book introduction. Now, the going price tag for this book, original copy, yeah, I'm not even going to touch that with a 100-foot pole. But I've lucked out, and at comic shops, they're doing a lot of dollar comic reprints, and so I'm glad that I at least got a reprint copy so that I could read the story. And now before we get into all of this, let's talk about who made this amazing book. This is Kelley Puckett, writer, Mark Parobeck doing the penciling, Rick Burchett doing the inks, Rick Taylor doing the colors, Tim Harkins doing lettering, Darren Vinsocco is the assistant editor, and Scott Pearson is the editor. Batman was created by Bill Finger with Bob Kane. And I appreciate that they did a nod back to Frank Miller's work, because this is called Batgirl Day 1, kind of like Batman Year 1. And this is called Ladies' Night. Now check this out. We get a cool little panel of Batman fighting this guy. One dialogue box. Batman. He told me 4 days ago he was leaving town to track down the man behind the Rockridge heist. So check this out. One page with really great art. One dialogue box. Unlike a lot of modern books, which I don't understand why people feel the need to do this, but to explain that, it feels like in modern comics, to explain that Batman's out of the city, it would have taken 5 pages and massive amounts of paragraphs to get it explained, as where Puckett did it with one panel, one dialogue box. So bravo on that. So we find out that it's Barbara and Gordon just kind of talking, and he's explaining to Babs where Batman is, and Barbara is getting ready for a costume party. Now, what I appreciate here is Puckett does another nod to the original appearance of Batgirl, which was back in Detective Comics 359, which if I could find that in my backups, I will re-upload that video. Because in the original Detective Comics, Babs was dressed up as Batgirl for a policeman's charity masquerade ball, and ended up helping Bruce Wayne because he was people were trying to abduct him. So, in a sense, this is sort of what this book is, because what happens... Well, you know what? Let's wait a minute before we start even jumping there. Because what's really interesting is Barbara gets this real whimsical look about her. And she goes, Dad, do you ever wonder what it's like to be Batman? And see how she gets this wonderment? And she goes, leaping from rooftops, chasing criminals, dodging gunfire. It sounds so exciting. And then what I like is how Gordon calmly, doesn't get mad, he just calmly says, there's a lot of people that are always out to kill Batman. All it takes is one mistake, one lucky shot, and it's over. I admire Batman for what he does, but I don't envy him. Nobody should. And so he's leaving, and she goes, good thing I didn't show him the costume. And so we see the Batgirl uniform. And so we get into the party, and Barbara's looking for her friend Sandy, who's the daughter of a rich tycoon who runs a company that I guess is... I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. But anyway, Barbara's looking for her, and no one seems to find her. But what happens is you come to find out that she's abducted. So in a sense, that's kind of how Bruce Wayne was, where he was trying to be abducted, and Batgirl helped him in the originals, and now with this animated series, her friend has been abducted, and she has to help her friend. Now check this out. As you see this guard say, hey, you girls ain't supposed to be here. And then you see, here comes the pitch. She swings. And it's out of here. Now check this. If you guys remember, pre-Flashpoint, Harley was basically a femme fatale. Yeah, she was bubbly when she wanted to be, but just in like, a turn of an eye, she would kill you. Now, post-Flashpoint, she's just way too bubbly. Like it's almost too cutesy. Because, she'll say something, she'll go, holy moly, whack-a-moly, boly-toly, this is so catoli-moly. And yuck. As you can see here, Harley, she makes a little bit of a joke, and she bashes this policeman right upside the head and gets ready to turn around and do the same thing to Barbara. So just, oof. Now, another thing that I appreciate pre-Flashpoint is the friendship and teamwork between Ivy and Harley, because they always worked well together. Barbara's able to give Harley a good smack because they butt heads. And just right here, Ivy's like, Harley, are you all right? Sure, I'm just going to lie here for a while. That's the spirit. You don't really get that type of stuff again. It's just too dadgum cutesy. But Barbara here, she just goes to save Sandy, and she's starting to notice what her dad said about all it takes is one mistake, and you could be dead. For example, she turns the corner with Sandy. Harley pulls a gun on her. She goes, payback. And she flinches, and she notices she's saved. The bullet just took the tip of her ear. Oh, boy. So even though this is a Batgirl heavy issue, I still appreciate that. We get moments with Harley and Ivy, and then we get Catwoman, and I've always appreciated this design. Just loved it. Even before I really got into the Batman comics, I always liked the simplicity of her outfit. And then it just kind of reminded me how greedy Catwoman really used to be, because Batgirl concocts a way to foil her plans. And she tells all her goons, she goes, change the plans. Boys distracted the cops downstairs while I make off with the diamond, okay? But that's not fair, we'll all get arrested. Tell you what, next time I'll hold off the cops and you guys can get away. Now, with this book, we learn that Barbara can be a hero. But, between the time that we see that whimsical look on her face in the beginning to now where she sees her dad and he's worried about her, we see the character grow. In the span of, 30 pages or something like that, we see her grow as a person. And in a great way, too, and for the better, to be more mature about her choices. So if you want to see more about what I'm talking about, definitely take a moment, support your local comic shop, and, if you got the green, go ahead and pull the trigger and pick up an original copy of this. If not, for the rest of us who, they have this dollar comic reprint, which is really awesome. And I appreciate it because it gives us all a chance to read the story and at least have a placeholder until we're at a place where we can actually get a real copy for some of the price tags I've seen, and just, yeah. So anyway, at the time of this recording, if we're all still locked indoors, call your local comic shop and see if they can either deliver the book to you or mail it to you or do curbside service. Or if you're in the future and you're watching this now, take a moment out of your day and go support your local comic shop. And if you've enjoyed this review, please take a moment to hit like, share, and subscribe. Helps the club channel more than you could possibly know, especially since we've had to start over. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that fancy little gesture bell next to subscribe, that way as we continue to upload content, you guys can come to the channel, and we'd love to have a dialogue and hear your feedback down in the comments below. So with all that said, I hope you all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.